There is an abundance of diverse species inhabiting our planet, and it's likely that you may not have encountered certain animals before. Discover 13 of the oddest creatures on Earth, including deer with fangs and bunny-like beings with teddy bear features. 1. Aardwolf. Despite their name, aardwolves are not actually related to either wolves or aardvarks. The name aardwolf comes from the Afrikaans language, meaning earth wolf, due to their insatiable appetite for insects. These creatures are primarily found in eastern and southern Africa, and they are genetically closest to hyenas. However, instead of scavenging for carcasses like their hyena relatives, aardwolves prefer to munch on termites and can consume as many as 200,000 in a single meal. This diet provides them with the necessary protein and moisture to survive in some of the driest regions of the world. 2. Bilby. Let me tell you about the bilby, a rare marsupial from the Aussie desert. These little guys are famous for their long tails, silky fur, and adorable big ears. Now, some folks call them rabbit bandicoots, but around Easter time, they've taken on a new role, replacing that has-been Easter bunny. That's right, chocolate bilbies have become the new symbol of Easter in Australia, with proceeds going towards keeping these guys alive and well. But don't let their cute looks fool you. Bilbies are skilled diggers, with strong forelimbs and some seriously sharp claws. Female bilbies even have pouches facing backwards so they don't fill up with dirt while they're tunneling around. These guys may be cute, but they're not to be messed with. 3. Pink fairy armadillo. Have you heard of the pink fairy armadillo? These tiny creatures are the smallest of all armadillos and can only be found chilling on the grasslands and sand plains of Argentina. And let me tell you, they are cuteness overload. With a pink shell and silky white fur, they're practically begging to be picked up and put in your pocket like a precious little pet. But hold your horses there, buddy! As much as we'd all love a pink fairy armadillo friend, their natural habitat is being threatened by agriculture and cattle ranching. That's why organizations like Xenarthrans are working their tails off to protect and preserve these precious little guys. We may not be able to cuddle them in our pockets, but we can do our part to make sure they stick around for generations to come. 4. Chinese water deer. Have you ever heard of the Chinese water deer? These guys are native to the Yangtze floodplain and some parts of Korea, and here's a fun fact, they're actually more closely related to musk deer than true deer. Now, when it comes to the males, they don't have antlers like other deer. Nope, they grow long canines that look more like tusks, giving them the spooky nickname of vampire deer. But don't worry, you're not in any danger if you run into one in the wild. Those tusks are mainly for show and for digging around for food. These guys aren't out for blood, they'd rather munch on some tasty weeds, grasses, and herbs. So go ahead and admire these unique creatures from a safe distance. 5. Streaked tenrec. Meet the streaked tenrec, a spiky little creature that may look like a hedgehog, but it's actually more closely related to otters and moles. Don't be fooled by its cute appearance though. When threatened, this tenrec will curl up into a ball and shoot quills at any predator silly enough to mess with it. Native to Madagascar, you can find streaked tenrecs scurrying around the floors of rainforests in places like Ranomafana, searching for yummy worms and insects to chow down on. And if you happen to stumble across one of these guys at night, be prepared for a jump scare. These nocturnal critters will give you quite the fright. 6. Star-nosed mole. If you're in the moist regions of North America, you might just stumble upon a star-nosed mole. But don't hold your breath, these critters are uncommonly seen despite their common presence. One of the star-nosed mole's most distinctive features is, you guessed it, the star-shaped organ at the end of its nose. This sensory powerhouse is made up of over 25,000 tiny receptors that the mole uses to navigate its surroundings. But that's not all. These moles, no bigger than your average hamster, also have the unique ability to blow bubbles underwater to track down their prey. In fact, they're the only known mammal that can smell while submerged. Pretty impressive for a critter that's usually out of sight. 7. Ilipika. Back in 1983, scientists stumbled upon a creature that looked like a cross between a teddy bear and a rabbit in China's Tian Shan Mountains. They named it the Ili Pika, but it vanished without a trace until 2014. With fewer than 1,000 individuals left in the world, locals have dubbed it the magic rabbit. These critters love munching on grass, herbs, and plants that grow in the mountains. In summer, they go on a gathering spree and stash their loot in hay piles hidden among rocks. Although they resemble short-eared rabbits, the Ili Pika stands out with its unique appearance. Spotting one in the wild is like finding a needle in a haystack since they're rarer than pandas. However, scientists are using camera traps to unravel the secrets of this elusive and enchanting creature's lifestyle in the Tian Shan Mountains. 8. Marker. This funky-looking goat, known as the Old Man of the Mountains, is a rare sight only seen in the remote mountains of northeastern Afghanistan and Pakistan. Marker may look odd, but they're a source of pride for Pakistan, who named them their national animal. However, these majestic creatures are in danger of disappearing forever, as they're one of the world's most endangered species. In a strange twist, marker spit is considered a valuable commodity as an anti-venom. As these goats chew their food, saliva drips from their mouths and dries on the ground, where locals can collect it for its medicinal properties. So, it seems that marker are not only fascinating animals but also potential lifesavers. 9. Sunda Kalugo. The Kalugo, also known as the flying lemur, is not a member of the lemur family despite the misleading name. These gentle creatures are more closely related to primates. Living in the jungles of Southeast Asia, Kalugo spend their lives holding onto tree trunks. Their gray and brown fur serves as excellent camouflage in their natural habitat. Using a flap of skin called a patagium, they glide from tree to tree, conserving energy and avoiding predators. The young cling onto their mother's belly as she moves around in search of food. Although these cute animals are shy, they are not predators and survive solely on a herbivorous diet. 10. Raccoon dog. Raccoon dogs, also called tanuki, may look like raccoons, but they are actually more closely related to foxes. Despite their facial similarities, these East Asian dogs are a separate species. In Japanese folklore, tanuki have been depicted as playful and mischievous creatures capable of shape-shifting. As a result, they hold significant cultural importance and are often represented as small statues in Japanese homes. 11. Quoll. With their adorable spotted coats, quolls are a sight to behold. These carnivorous marsupials are native to Australia and some parts of Papua New Guinea, and have been hunting small birds, lizards, and insects for millions of years. However, the introduction of cane toads to Australia has caused a significant decline in quoll populations. The slow-moving toads are an easy target for quolls, but their poisonous glands are lethal. Fortunately, breeding programs in Tasmania are helping to re-establish quoll populations in areas far from the cane toad's range in northern Australia. 12. Baluchistan pygmy jerboa. The Baluchistan pygmy jerboa, with its mouse-like body and chicken-like appearance, is among the smallest rodents in the world, competing with the African pygmy mouse for the title. Weighing less than 4 grams and measuring barely 4 cm tall, these creatures are indigenous to Pakistan, specifically the arid plains and sand dunes of the Baluchistan Desert. If you happen to witness them foraging, be prepared to be enchanted. Surviving on a diet of dried leaves and seeds carried by the wind, they use their minuscule hands to bring food to their mouths. 13. Margay. The margay, a small wild cat, can be found in the deciduous, tropical, subtropical, and cloud forests of Central and South America. It lives a solitary life, climbing through trees in search of rats, tree frogs, and squirrels, among other prey. Although it may bear resemblance to an ocelot with its stature and spotted face, the margay has distinct differences. For instance, its tail is longer than its hind leg, unlike the ocelot's shorter tail. Unfortunately, margays are a rare sight today, having suffered from illegal wildlife trade in the 1990s. As a result, They are now categorized as a near-threatened species.